Continuing what a good stock picker should know. First I said was a good feel for accounting numbers, right? The second is finding the free cash flow and being able to estimate free cash flow. This is not going to be very easy because your valuation of anything, whether it is real estate, debt or equities, is about knowing what will be the cash flow, what will be the timing of the cash flow, and what is the probability of the cash flow happening, that is risk. Now in case of bonds, at least you know when the cash flow should be and at what rate it is going to happen. So those two things, then you're only worried about the third thing, risk. Will this promoter pay or not pay, right? If the business doesn't do well, will you be able to pay? What will happen? How much I will write off and how much will I recover? Whereas in case of equity valuation, you are saying the risk is when the money will come, how much money will come, and whether he'll repay, right? So it is A into B into C that increases the risk, right? The probability of getting back money is what you're looking for. So one thing which lot of changes have happened in businesses, right? The last 30-40 years that I've been investing, of course there are a lot of changes. One change which you cannot deny is the short life of companies. Companies may not live that long. You may not see a company which is 100-year-old and 200-year-old companies exist today, right? But whether a company which is starting today will exist for 200 years is very difficult to say. Generation to generation is now not 30 years, it is 10 years. So taste can change. Facebook generation was very different and the Insta generation is very different. So the people who go to Insta are not the people who go to Facebook. So there are people like me who are there on both the places, but I just have not been able to master the Insta game. Sorry, I'm digressing, but being able to estimate the cash flow for 2-3 years at least, if not 10 years, being able to estimate the cash flow, being able to decide what is the risk factor, or rather what is the interest rate at which you want to discount. Is it 5%, is it 8%, is it 10%? At least now in 2023 people have seen that interest rates can go up also, but imagine 1980 to 2020-21, maybe some part of 22, interest rates just kept coming down. So at what rate will you discount the future cash flows? One, cash flow is uncertain, the timing is uncertain, the risk is certain. There is risk, we do not know how much is the risk, and then you do not know at what rate to discount it. Now if you take all these 4 factors and somebody says, okay, now today this is the price, how much will be the price after some time? I'm like, I'm amazed, appalled, and I'm wondering, what are you asking? I have no control over any of these factors. Why am I guessing? But it is easier for me to guess the EPS of a cement manufacturer or a coal manufacturer or even an electricity generator rather than that of a technology company, because you do not know from where the cash flow, the future cash flow is going to come. When will it come? Will it come as a lump sum? Will adding one extra feature to their app or extra branch or something, what will trigger that extra cash flow? Having to guess all that and then say, oh, I think the price of this share is so much and it will be so much. Let's say a Metaverse or a Google or somebody like that will be so much, is so difficult to say. Another thing which we are seeing is big companies growing at a fast rate, which was unthinkable. Earlier, when the company reached a particular size, it would grow only at 5% or 6%. But today, companies have grown at 20-30% even on huge size, and that can just vanish. And once the growth vanishes, the question is, how do you estimate cash flow, right? So if you can't estimate cash flow, if you can't estimate profits, at what rate do you discount? What price are you willing to pay? Are you willing to pay just for the growth, saying, oh, they're getting market share, one day cash flow will come? Because largely valuation is about cash flow and the PE that you're willing to pay for the growth that it will achieve. If you can't estimate the cash flow, ultimately it is about profit, but if you can't estimate profit, you should be able to estimate cash flow and see what is the trigger which will pull it into a completely different orbit. For example, if it's an airline, let's say Indigo, and let me tell you, I own Indigo shares. If Indigo has 20% of its flights being used or 20% of the seats being used for international, the profitability goes up. But at 30, will it be a much bigger kicker to the EPS, or at 40 or at 50, will it completely transform the company? These are calls that you have to take, and based on that you estimate the cash flow. Based on that you say, oh, therefore the PE will change, and therefore this will be the price. It's so difficult. I don't know why people want to do direct equity without wanting to do these steps. I mean, it really breaks my heart to see people coming and saying, oh, I bought Asian Paints because I think it's a great company. A great company at a good valuation will make money. A great company at a great valuation will not make money for you. It will make money for the person who sold off, right? I'm not even getting into whether Asian Paints or HDFC Bank is a good company or a bad company, but your timing can make the difference between getting a sub savings bank account rate and getting a much higher rate. So you need to understand that the timing of the company's cash flow earnings discounted by an appropriate rate is going to tell you the price at which the share is going to be after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Anybody trying to project cash flows beyond 3 years for, let's say, a company like a Zomato or Indigo or even for HDFC Bank is living in a fool's paradise. One change in technology, one thing like this can really spoof it, right? Can completely take it to a different orbit. So will you be able to find that? So cash flow timings, right? So that's understanding the present value of future cash flow, which starts by estimating the future cash flow. That is going to be very difficult. Another very important thing is to assess the strategy because of which the company makes money. What distinguishes the company because of which it is making money? What distinguishes an HDFC Bank? Why is it superior to ICICI Bank, or why ICICI Bank is superior to HDFC Bank? Remember one very important thing when you are now looking at HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank is also going to get the income of HDFC Mutual Fund, HDFC Life Insurance, etc., which were part of HDFC Limited. So today comparing HDFC to ICICI is possible, right? But the kicker which HDFC Limited used to get by promoting great companies and selling them off and making money, that is completely lost. I don't think HDFC Bank has the capacity to do that kind of work which Mr. Deepak Parekh and team were doing it in HDFC Limited. So to that extent the PE should reflect that, right? So it's very difficult to know the strategy which the company used to make money, right? So there are people who have said, oh, HDFC Limited is getting too high a PE because it's a mortgage company. Complete nonsense. No ability to understand that being a mortgage company was perhaps only 30% of its business. 70% of its business was promoting new big businesses and being able to spin it off and make money there, right? So whether it is an HDFC Bank, mutual fund, life insurance, or general insurance, or any of those things, right? Education, finance, schools, their ability to create wealth through creating subsidiaries, you have to understand that is where it makes money, right? That is where it got the PE. Then of course the 20% growth or 30% growth, very predictable business, all that is in place. But to be able to understand the strategy which they use, right? To be able to, so what is important? Is the selling price important? Is the location important, right? It depends on what you are aiming at. Like for Starbucks, they keep saying that what is important is location, location and location. There is a Starbucks just outside Bombay's domestic airport, T1. It's very easy to say, let's meet at T1, I've got a flight to take, or let's meet at T1, I'm landing at this hour. So it's a very good location to meet. So that location of Starbucks will definitely be full, simply because people are going to use that as a meeting place. But it doesn't mean people may want to eat there. People may go to Haldiram, which is next door. So the question is, who is going to be a bigger beneficiary of the location? Is it Haldiram or Starbucks? Or we find that both are constantly at 2 a.m. also it's full, and at 2 p.m. also it's full, because people don't have a place to sit there. I mean, if you want to meet somebody, there's a great place to meet, going to the airport or coming back from the airport, right? It's a great, so some of these things to find out how that particular is, not that it is going to affect the valuation of Starbucks, but if it was a smaller chain, which 5 restaurants or 6 restaurants, then that location is going to matter. So Starbucks is going to look for all such locations where people have no choice but to come to Starbucks to meet. So looking at what really makes money for Starbucks, is it location, is it the quality of food, is it predictability, is it allowing you to sit there for a long period of time, is it allowing use of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has now become a commodity, everybody has it in their phone. So today it's not necessary, but once upon a time as students or even people making business presentations, that free Wi-Fi was a big thing. For half an hour, 40 minutes you could get that Wi-Fi, and that was useful. So what drives people to come and what drives people to buy, that is something for you to be able to understand why a restaurant makes money, why a business makes money, what really sells, how taste is changing, right? So you saw photography business change dramatically after digital cameras came in, right? You will see a lot of these businesses dying and a lot of new businesses coming. To be able to know exactly why they are making money and how long they will make, that's very important. So that's the third one that we are talking about. Thank you.